Okay. So, thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Um, so Steph took care of pretty much all the work. Um, there was, like I told Pieta, there was just one little bug that I had to fix, and then it was good to go. So, great job on your part.
Thank you,
Um,
Steph.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and screen share, and then run through the code real quick.
Okay.
Stephanie, if I may suggest, maybe we can mute our microphones
Oh,
so when we make noises we don't pop in and since
Yeah.
this is recording.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, yeah. I can go ahead and I can change it into presenting mode so that it sticks on mine. So you guys are fine if you want to
Okay,
leave your
that's
mics
good.
on. So now it shouldn't be popping between people's stuff. At least not the recording. So, okay. So the first thing that we got is this person class. And basically, she created a whole bunch of functions in here to just, get first name, second name, get all of the pertinent information. It's all pretty straightforward. The list, well, I don't know why I'm talking about it. Steph, you can pop in anytime if you want to explain or if I'm wrong on this stuff. But basically here with the get parents, she's creating a list of parents based on the current person. Parents equals child of, and that just calls a different class that basically keeps track of whose kid is whose. And it just works through the database to find all the right parents. So the code through there is pretty straightforward. First, we connect to the database by creating a database connection, and I'll go through that here in just a minute. And then we get an instance of that connection, and then we have to put in a SQL query, which is basically just a command. And here we're selecting select all from the table person, where the ID is equal to whatever ID got passed in. And then it goes ahead and executes the query and creates another person list based on the results of that. And it creates a person object, and once the person object is complete, it goes ahead and adds them to the list. And so that's the basic idea for all of these functions. Like get child, get grandparents, get all. Get all is the biggest one. It's the one we use for the original index page. And that basically just retrieves a list of every person in the database. So the key here is this database connection class. So basically what we're doing is we feed it a database name, and you guys will have to replace the database stuff in here with your own info if you want to run this on your own system, because this is just what I have set aside for that particular SQL database on my machine. So my database name is CS313 Group Projects. My username's root. That's my password. And then the URL where I'm connecting from is this right here. Most people will be fine just leaving this alone unless you put it on a specific port that's other than 3306. For the MySQL Workbench and most SQL databases, 3306 is the default. So that should be good. If you're having issues connecting, then that's one of the things that you want to check. The driver is going and getting the MySQL JDBC driver from the website, and we're just going to leave that alone because it's static. It's never going to change. And what we do is we say, okay, create a class for the driver and get a new instance of it. The connection equals the driver manager dot get connection of the URL name plus the database name. So, for example, if I'm typing in this comment line here, so I've got my URL here, of JDBC, all that MySQL stuff, and then it adds the database name to that as the command. So it's going in here onto your MySQL stuff, and then it goes into that particular database where we can fetch all the tables that we need. And so that is one argument. And then it's just got your username and then the password as those last arguments, and you should be connected. And at that point, we are returning the connection unless there was an error. So when we call it here, we are creating a new instance of the database connection class, and then we're creating a connection which gets the results of this function here. So that's pretty straightforward once you've seen it once. And that's where the bug was this connection wasn't being completed all the way. Steph had just missed like one line of code, and that was it. So once I fixed that, everything popped into place. We've got the child of class here, and that's kind of the same as the whole person deal, just backwards. And then we've got a couple of JSPs. The first one is this index.jsp, and she has all her styling information here, but we're just going to minimize that because it's 138 lines, and I don't feel like going through all that. So basically, we're putting out the name, the date of birth, and then creating a person bean inside of this scriptlet. And this is what's called a Java bean. And it's a special kind of class, which is how the person is being called. And it makes it available within the system. So she actually did it in a more complex way than we originally would have, but it's great because that's honestly the better way to do it. For the sake of code extensibility. So that was great on Steph's part. So then we go ahead and create a list of parents as a new array list, and then we fill that parents list with the getAll function of this person. So the person essentially fills up with all of the information from the database, and then we feed that into a list here. And if the size of the parents is not equal to 0, so if there's something in there, then we go ahead and run a for loop, which puts out for every single person in that list, it just puts out their information that we need into a table. And if there isn't anyone found, then it just says no result found. So I'll go ahead and run that page real quick as soon as it starts up my Glassfish. Piedad, are you following, or did I lose you somewhere?
Yeah, no,
okay.
I'm following.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't talking too fast. I do that sometimes. This is the fun part. I should have run this from the beginning so it had plenty of time. There we go. Oh, you know what would really help? So that's what it looks like if there are no results found, mostly because my MySQL database is currently shut off. So it's going and looking, but it can't find anything because this isn't connected. So as soon as I start that up, we will see something totally different because I'm prepared today. Do, 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 do. Okay, start server. Got to see my super awesome Star Wars background. Okay, so that should be done. Secondary password. Okay, so that should be running now. So if we go ahead and reload this, then magic, it fills up.
Oh, I see.
So for each of these people, she generated an href link for another page, and that page is this personal detail page, which gives us a lot more options. And basically it creates a brand new person and then gets more detailed information on that person, including like their grandchildren, parents, grandparents, all that stuff.
Okay.
Oh, hey, I think I found that little bug. So you know how we mentioned that it wasn't quite working the way it should the other day, Steph? I just found it. So here we're looking for the grandparents, and we accidentally did grandchilds instead. So that's, sorry, I just noticed that.
That explains it.
That explains a lot. Okay, so if we click, barring that bug, because we can fix that, but I don't know that we'll really need to, because I'm not sharing this video with the professor, and you can only reach it via a link, so I'm not telling if you guys aren't. So we click on Bob, and it pulls up all of Bob's detail. So now we've got links to all of Bob's family. So say, for example, if we wanted to go check on his grandchild, Wayne Smith. Something's still funky there, but that's probably that same bug. It would then pull up all of Wayne's details, and we could move through this list that way, just connecting over and over and over again because of the way that it's listed. And then when we're done, we can go back to the list page, and we've got that original list.
Oh, that looks great. Are we supposed to do our own names on the database, or are we supposed to just turn in the same thing?
No, we can just turn in the same thing. The only thing that he wanted the database filled with was names. They didn't really have to be related to us in any way.
Names
They were just arbitrary
Just
names.
random names, okay.
Yep. So they could have been anything. I mean, we could have done like the Skywalker family or something, but it wouldn't have mattered.
Okay.
So basically, we're doing the same thing as we did in this index.jsp, and we're just creating a bean of creating a parents list from each of the grandchildren, and then that should be grandparents, but it'll list out all the grandparents and all the same for the grandparents, the parents, the children, and the grandchildren. And that's all it really is.
Are we supposed to turn in the database also?
I went ahead and included the script to create the database in the zip file. So
I see
if
it.
he wants
Okay.
to go and create the database, which at this point I don't know that he will, because he seems busy
I
or
doubt
something.
it.
But so if he feels like going and creating the database, he certainly can. But it's just a script that runs locally. There's no way to transfer the actual database other than a SQL script.
Okay.
So that's included in there. So it should be good to go. Were there any questions or?
No, I think it looks great. You guys did a good job.
Oh, it was like 99% Steph. So she did great.
Good job, Steph.
Thanks, guys. Ben's awesome.
Okay. So I think that pretty much covers the code. Was there anything else that you guys think we need to talk about, or are you good?
No, I think we're good. I'm just gonna go look at the code and, just take my time
Okay.
looking through it. But
Okay.
thanks for the explanation. That helped a lot.
Yeah. Just to check, have you been having any issues with the whole OpenShift get set up at all?
Me?
Piedad.
Yeah,
I
I
hope I'm
have
saying
a
your
hard
name right.
time with my OpenShift.
Okay. So
Not
we
with
found,
Git. I'm able to push things to Git just fine, but OpenShift gives me a hard time.
Me
Okay.
too. Mine's
Okay.
fixed, but it was. You're not alone, Pia.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of OpenShift. However, we did find a tool the other day, and I'm going to go ahead and show that to you, and you can go look it up later if you feel like it. It's called the JBoss Developer Studio, and I wish...
It's a link. You can just click on it. It's like one of those downloads that you just click on.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically what this does... Oh, hey, you know what would really help? Is if I shared my screen. Then you guys would see what's going on. That would be great. Okay. So this is the JBoss Developer Studio webpage. And basically what this is they took Eclipse and they tweaked it to be specifically designed for OpenShift use. I went ahead and installed it last night, and I think it's honestly really useful, especially where we're stuck using OpenShift. And I wish they would have showed us this tool at the beginning of the semester, because it made life like 100% easier. So basically, you can, through this OpenShift Explorer, you can import all of your OpenShift projects, which I did here, and I've got all of my OpenShift files here. So now I can just drag and drop that WAR file from my NetBeans stuff, and then go into the Git section and just push it directly to OpenShift, and I can see everything that's going on in OpenShift. I can see all the remotes that exist. I can see my directories. I can see any references, tags, branches, all of it. So I think it's a great tool for control. I mean, granted, we've got like 3 weeks left, so it's not like it really matters. But
So what does this do exactly? Just pushes things to OpenShift?
It does a lot more than that. Because of the way that they have the class set up and him wanting it in a WAR file, we're using NetBeans a lot more. But if we were just using this on its own, then we could just right-click here and just create the same way that you do in NetBeans, where you like create a new class or a new JSP file or a new servlet or any of that stuff. It creates it directly in your OpenShift Git.
Oh, okay. So this is like another developer tool, just like NetBeans, but it works better with OpenShift. Is that?
Yeah.
With OpenShift and Git, it'll push to both repositories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just makes life a lot easier. So I figured I'd go ahead and show you that in case you were looking for another tool.
Yeah, thanks. And so it's called JBoss?
Yep, JBoss. It's the JBoss Developer Studio.
Okay, okay. I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I can...
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I got to get running.
Yeah.
Can we do anything to help your family?
Oh, no. No, we're good.
Yeah, I hope everything gets better.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah,
so,
there.
we will see you guys next week.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
Yep. If you guys think of anything that you need help with or questions, or if I didn't explain something right, then let me know and I'll help you out.
No, you did great. You're awesome. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Have a good night.
Okay, good night.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.